Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fifth episode of Pixel Power Hour. This is Shivangi, the community manager here at FilterPixel. Awesome. So, you've already read the topic which says unlocking SEO success in photography. So, moving on today, we have with us the guest of the day is Kyle Goldie. He's a photographer and wedding business coach for the last 10 years. He's also an educator and runs a podcast. And as I just told you today, we're talking about SEO. And if there's anyone I know in the industry who is the best in SEO, it's him. So it was very difficult getting him here. So just go on, ask your questions, and if you need any help in terms of SEO, website visits, conversions, just go ahead and ask him that. Now I'm going to let him on in so he can introduce himself, though he doesn't need any introduction, but he can just join in and we can get started with the topic.
Hello,
Okay,
hello.
how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for the 4th of July and having a little time with
Oh
family and some
yes.
downtime. I'm sure a lot of photographers feel the same way right now.
Oh yes, I believe everyone's like on a holiday weekend, long weekend mood right now.
Yeah, and I'm Canadian myself, born and raised in Canada, now live in the States. So having Canada Day 2 days ago, and now coming up with Independence Day in the U.S. tomorrow, it's just filled with fireworks for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really a vacation thing going on for you there.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited that summer's actually here and we got some blue sky finally. Because living around Seattle, it's just a lot of clouds all year round.
Awesome. Got it. Got it. Okay. So Kyle, you can go ahead, give a brief introduction about yourself and what you're currently working on and also what we'll be sort of discussing today.
Yeah, so those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Kyle Goldie. I've been a photographer myself for 15 years now, an educator for about a decade, and I primarily help photographers with their SEO, so their search engine optimization. So essentially, when someone's trying to Google for something, I help photographers get found for those particular keywords. That said, I also help photographers with a lot of other areas around their business because I am a business coach. I just specialize within the SEO world because that's where we want to try to primarily get traffic from. There's a lot of reasons why I say we want to get traffic primarily from SEO, but we're going to be getting into more of that detail sort of today. And ideally, for those of you who are here live, I'd love it if you can also engage with this video, engage with the stream that we're doing here, ask me questions so that way I can give you unique answers to the things that you are currently wondering about within your own business. So I'm just here to help.
Absolutely. Okay, people are joining in. In the meantime, Kyle, so it was just an hour back, I was a part of a Facebook group and we were just chatting about Instagram. And I'm more of a social media person rather than an SEO or digital marketing or an ads person. And we were just talking about Instagram, TikTok, and how it is very overwhelming sometimes to jump on every trend. So somebody just hopped in and asked, is SEO still a thing because of new updates happening due to AI and all of them being listed in one place rather than all the blogs just popping up. So there was just one person who just popped in and said, is SEO still a thing? And everybody's like, of course SEO is still a thing. And absolutely. But there were still people who were so confused because they're not really
Yeah.
updated with what's happening. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's really interesting because there's a lots of information, let's say, in the world that says SEO is dead, and then the next article is like, oh, SEO is better than ever. So it's just difficult to know what piece of information to trust. And when it comes down to the misinformation of the world, the thing that I like to refer on is the data,
Yeah.
because the data is not someone's opinion. The data is just numbers and math kind of in front of us. And what we're seeing with the data is that people still use search engines every single day of their life. And when it comes to SEO, it's not just Google. Like TikTok these days, especially by younger generations, TikTok is used as a search engine.
Exactly.
They're typing in their keywords to go find what they're searching for, just like Instagram is a search engine for Instagram platform. Amazon is a search engine to go find products now. So it's just getting optimized for keywords to get found by what you're trying to get found for, regardless of the individual platform you're trying to optimize on. Step number one of any SEO keyword strategy is going to be doing proper SEO keyword research, just to identify the search volume per month and equally the competition of the keywords. We're also going to get into more depth about all those things as well on this call.
Exactly. Okay. So I know, we had this set of questions prepared, but this was just something that, we were discussing right before this live actually happened. So, and, I was curious. I was like, okay, I'm going to be discussing about this. Let me get back to you. And I'm definitely, SEO is still a thing because it just doesn't disappear. And it's, being integrated in more and more platforms and channels now as of before. So, definitely that's what you believe in. But There are a lot of beginner photographers as well with us today and in the community as well. And they want to just be like, okay, I want to start a website, I want to just put my business out there. So if you had to explain them in a very simple language, what exactly is SEO?
Essentially, in plain English, when someone is searching for someone online, let's say it is Google, and they type in something like Miami family photographer. If you're in Miami, and if you are a family photographer, of course, it's getting towards page one as the goal. Ideally, the top three results to get more clicks. So someone makes a search, you optimize your content and your website, etc., for your search engine optimization. You ideally get found higher up to get more of these free clicks coming from Google to go get your targeted traffic.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. And I know you just like mentioned the step one, but what according to you is actually the step one of getting started with the SEO strategy?
Yeah, a lot of times people that I've helped over the years, even when they're working with SEO agencies, they'll just say, well, I live in this area and I'm this type of photographer, so therefore that should be my keyword. So
Okay.
they just think that whatever city that they live in, they're just going to tack on their job title at the end of it, like family photographer, wedding photographer, etc. And even some, I'm not going to mention who, but there's some educators that are out there of like, yeah, that's great because that's where you live and that's where you're trying to get found for, so let's use it. But if no one's Googling for it with the data, with keyword research, if it's
Yeah,
just zeros, why are we using that particular keyword? It makes no sense. I don't care if you're on page one because you're not getting found for it because no one's Googling for it.
that's
So a
right.
tool to go use that's for photographers, in my opinion, because it's cheaper and not a lot of photographers want SEO grade tools. It's Keywords Everywhere. It's a Google Chrome extension. It's only, I think it's $10 for the whole year at the moment. So really cheap tool. If you want an agency grade tool, pro grade tool, you can look at tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush, etc. But those tools are going to be quite and a lot more expensive compared to Keywords Everywhere. Me personally, for photographers, I recommend that the Keywords Everywhere Chrome extension tool because it's still robust. And a lot of tools that are out there, even the agency grade tools, won't be teaching you on the different types of keywords that exist out there. And that's where I'm going to want you all to be doing manual keyword research by getting in your mindset of your ideal client avatar who lives in your area and identifying one at a time, is my ideal client searching for this particular thing? So, as an example to that, let's say that you are a wedding photographer that's living in New York City, like right in Manhattan. What I'm going to want you to do is go use the Keywords Everywhere Chrome extension tool and type into Google after getting the Chrome extension, New York City. So all spelled out like NEW, and then York, and then city wedding venues. And then I'm going to want you to search for NYC wedding venues, the variant of this keyword.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to want you to look for outdoor NYC wedding venues or waterfront NYC wedding venues, hotel NYC wedding venues, et cetera, et cetera, to then identify all the variants of these keywords that are brand awareness. Wedding venues have absolutely nothing to do with you being a photographer, but have everything to do with the client stage that they're in before they are looking for a wedding photographer. So
Right.
they get engaged, they look for a wedding venue. You should get found there, not just when they're looking for a wedding photographer. It just builds more of the brand awareness, builds more of the expertise. You know what you're talking about. And equally, you're getting in front of your competition, just like cranking out content for wedding planners as yet another example. But again, that's the absolute foundation, right? Because some
Okay.
wedding photographers, they might know that they should be doing things like that for their SEO and their content keyword strategy. But if they're not getting towards page one, that's where a lot of photographers get stuck
Yep.
because, oh, I got the keyword, I put it on there, but now what? But that is step one of, again, proper SEO keyword research, putting that together as part of a content marketing strategy. And then step two through, a million is then identifying, well, what uniquely needs to get done on my website in order for me to rank higher.
Got it. So step one is actually figuring out the keywords so that you can be ranked. And then
Yeah.
a challenge would actually be, now that you're ranked, how can you be on the first page or in the first 10 at least searches,
Yeah.
right? Got
That's
it.
exactly right. Yes. Keyword research is definitely going to be step one.
Got it. Got it. Awesome. So, Kyle, I know you work with a lot of photographers and you have a lot of stories and the coaching stories as well. And you also run a Facebook community where you keep on getting such questions. But, like, before we dive into this more, there are a lot of people who are still very dicey about, where should I spend my energy in? Where should I invest my efforts or money in? So, could you just, like, let me know one or two success stories that you've had with your clients who, like, actually seen like tangible results with SEO?
Yeah. Yeah. It's lots of different types of results that are out there. So, as an example, I help people primarily with their SEO, but everything else. So when we are ramping up the SEO efforts and getting people towards page one, what we're also working on while we're waiting for some of these new keywords to be indexed from Google and ranking higher and getting more of the traffic that we're looking for, we're also working on the conversion of a website. So within the program that I have anyway, we've seen results within the first day or two after signing up because we're just changing some things on the website to convert existing traffic better.
Okay.
Because when we're working on the conversion elements first, when they do optimize their SEO and start to rank higher, well, now we have better conversion mechanisms in place. Because part of your SEO result that we're all here for is we're trying to build equally what's called dwell time. And so in plain English, that's essentially how long someone's spending on someone's page of a website before visiting the next page.
Right.
So when we are building this dwell time here, we're equally building the user experience and getting in front of the algorithms of Google of identifying, well, people like this website, obviously, they like this page. Let's rank this page higher compared to a page that gets like 6 seconds or something, where they're just like, I'm here, I don't like it, I'm leaving. Google doesn't want to see that. So we work on website stuff first. They get a result faster when they're working on the website design and conversion things because their existing traffic becomes a lead that much quicker. In terms of SEO specifically and results there, I've seen people get on page one for some keywords in the matter of about a couple of weeks. And
Okay.
that's kind of going against the myth of, how long does it take for me to get on page one of Google? And, does it take me 4 months or 6 months or a year or whatever? I say it depends heavily on what you've been doing in the past for your website, your backlinks, the age of the domain, and just in short, how much Google trusts the existing website and content that you have.
Got it.
If Google really already trusts the website, yeah, you can get in front of a new keyword a heck of a lot faster compared to having a website that's brand new. You don't have any quality backlinks. You don't have any real big social signals around the internet saying that we should go trust this content. So for those photographers who are newer, it does take you a little bit longer. How long it will take you, in short, just depends on how fast you do what's necessary to have Google trust your content and your website more. And
Okay.
that's why we need to have that website structure built out very strategically, build out more quality backlinks that are relevant to your niche as well as local to your area. And in my opinion, and this is where some educators would disagree with me, but have some blog posts that are within the website domain to build what's called topical relevance and topical authority. So there's lots of different things that are necessary to get done. And the next biggest variable in terms of result is in the competition of the keywords. And
Right.
that's why step one is your keyword research to identify the competition ranked from 0 to 100. And with that tool that I mentioned earlier, Keywords Everywhere, the competition levels ranked 0 to 100. If we can find a keyword that is ranked with the competition level 0 to 10, that keyword there is less competition, therefore easier and faster to get on page one.
Okay.
So let's hypothetically, just for the sake of conversation, let's say we find a keyword within, our first step of keyword research that has a competition level of 5. So less competition, easier to get on page one. We're going to write a blog post for that one, like right away, so we can get towards page one for some of our keywords really quickly.
Got it.
Compared to our most competitive keywords like New York City wedding photographer, New York City family photographer, where it's going to be very saturated, very competitive.
Right.
We're
Right.
still going to go for that. But while we're waiting for all the other stuff we're doing and cranking out these blog posts and building backlinks and optimizing our website and everything else, we're going to be going after page one for our lower hanging fruit. So it's
Got
not
it.
just putting all of our eggs into like one basket. So that way we can get that faster result that we're looking for in terms of still targeted traffic and getting people on the website that is already designed better now to convert them better into a lead. Like there's been a lot of people that have gotten towards page one after getting my help. There's a lot of people that don't just get help with the SEO, but they also learn this improvement and make more money. And
Okay.
that's where, it's a variety of results, right? Because I'm a business coach and not just an SEO.
Got it. Got it. No, that
That was
makes
a
so much
long
sense.
answer.
I just
Yeah.
needed to, help the audience hear that success story because that just builds the excitement and belief to learn more out of this session. So that was the motive. But also that makes so much sense because I know a lot of people who just trying to get on page one using that particular keyword because that's all they want to rank for, but
Right.
not really caring about those less competitive keywords, which and basically boost you on that segment as well. So That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, right? Because like some people will say, "Oh, you don't need to go blog in order to go do your SEO." And I say,
Yeah.
"Yeah, you don't need to. Like that's okay. You don't need to at all. That's fine." But if you're not blogging, you're not getting in front of the additional keywords to get in front of your ideal client avatar. And if you're choosing not to, tell me why. Like when
Yeah.
you're optimizing your SEO and writing this blog post to get in front of the additional people, what's the strategy behind not getting that traffic for free? Like
Got it.
you might as well. Like if you don't want to write the article yourself, outsource it. Just put it to someone else to go do it for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So while we're talking about this, people not really blogging or maybe focusing on the less competitive keywords, what other mistakes have you seen people do, which are like very common, but they consider it as okay, this is just normal, and they keep on doing that.
Yeah, I'm going to share a few.
Okay.
So the biggest one that I see is people are not doing the proper SEO keyword research at the foundation because they're
Okay.
just thinking like, oh, they probably Google for that, so that's what I'll use. So that's number one. Because again, if no one's Googling for that thing, you're just wasting your time. Number two, I see a lot of photographers blogging, but not about the strategic keywords. So they're blogging about their sessions that they're having. They're blogging about, tips for their ideal client avatar, for like
Mhm.
what to wear, or what to do if like your kid's having a meltdown during the session, or the value of artwork and the reason why you should be investing in this. All these things are valuable to your ideal client avatar, but it's not location specific. So
Yeah.
even if you were to find, through keyword research that some people are Googling for that thing, well, it's not near you where that search is happening. So you're not going to get that local person on the website for your local business that you were trying to go build. So we need to go after location specific keywords, not just generic stuff that has a bunch of search volume.
Got it.
Another thing where I see it very commonly happening, especially if photographers who are making a bit more money, they
Mm-hmm.
just default to like, oh, I don't want a course, I don't want a coach, I just want someone to do this for me.
Yeah.
And that's where they hire an SEO agency, but the SEO agency is not a SEO agency for photographers. They're
Mm-hmm.
just a local marketing agency that's going to help you try to rank higher for your primary keyword. And this is where they just assume that the SEO agency is an expert
Yeah.
without doing much of the due diligence. But you guys got to keep in mind that anyone can say that they're an SEO expert. It doesn't mean that they are one.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that people are doing their due diligence and
Mhm.
identifying, can this person truly help me? And then on top of that, kind of in combination with another common problem, when you do hire other people or you are, you know, outsourcing anything within your business, make sure that you know what they are doing is correct. And this is where too many people just blindly support someone else. They pay them money, like let's say it's $500 a month or $1,000 a month, and they just burn their money because the SEO agency over here says, "Oh, I wrote your SEO title, and here it is, and here's your new meta description. Here's whatever else I just did." And then the photographer is like, "Oh, okay. Thanks for
Yeah.
letting me know. I don't know if it's done right or not, though." So what I do recommend is that photographers learn their own SEO, know what needs to get done, know if that's a proper SEO title and meta description and alt text and keyword strategy, etc. Because then when they get the report back from the person that they're outsourcing to, they actually know if it's being done well or not,
Exactly.
rather than be just trusting in the process, but then equally just burning your money, burning your time, getting frustrated, and now thinking that SEO doesn't work for you, where it does. You're just not doing it well. and
That
and that's where I see so many photographers burn so much money and get frustrated. So, in short, learn it first,
yeah.
understand SEO, and then outsource it if you want to.
Absolutely. I mean, outsourcing and delegation is one thing that if you know once, it's easier how it's done and what part of it can be delegated. So you can
Yeah,
actually delegate it well and know that this part's for you and this part's for the person whom you're outsourcing it to. Because even
yeah,
I find it super difficult for the things that I never know that, what do I ask the other person to do when I don't even know what it's to be done here. So
yeah,
first step is actually learning even the basics would actually help, right? Like not even deep
exactly.
diving into it, but just knowing the basic part would can help in the SEO part, right?
Exactly. And this is where a lot of photographers just want to outsource SEO because they think it's so overwhelming, they think it's
Yeah.
so confusing. And it can be if you allow it to be, right?
Yeah.
But if you learn SEO in plain English, where it's just do this, use this tool, then do that, then do this thing, in plain English, it's actually not complex.
Yeah.
It just needs to be taught in a certain way that's easy to comprehend.
Mhm.
And that's where, a lot of YouTube videos that are out there and blog posts that are out there, a lot of them are still very technical and difficult to understand. Of like, well, what exactly do I do? So we need to change how SEO is educated, especially within our industry here.
Got it. Got it. We just take one question that Madison has, and then we go back to our questions.
Sure.
Yeah. So, can you see it on your screen, or do you want me to read it out for you? Is
Let
it?
me see. Is it the how much time one? Oh, and we
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
how much money you spend on backlinks. We got a couple of questions.
Okay.
We got how much time should you give to SEO as a photographer? So, in my opinion, you should be optimizing and keeping fresh your SEO and therefore your content within your website for as long as you're a photographer.
Okay.
It's kind of like asking, well, how long should I run my business for? Like, and don't get me wrong here. Like, I've written blog posts 7, 8 years ago now that I'm still on page one for, still getting
Mhm.
traffic, still getting leads and bookings. You need to keep your website at minimum fresh. Google doesn't want to see your website over time slowly just die. So keep it fresh, push out new content, always keep on top of this, always be analyzing your competitors to see what they're doing, if someone's beating you out with more quality backlinks or whatever else. It is work up front, but it's less work over time. So, Madison, I would give yourself ballpark, but let's say give yourself 2 to 3 months to like really dig into SEO, learn it, apply it, track the data, analyze the conversion of everything to identify how well it's performing for you. And if you essentially on your Google Search Console, if you see like the data go up, kind of like this mountain, like all these little metrics that go upwards, hey, you're going in the right direction. It's all performing really well for you. If your leads are equally going up as well, great, it's fantastic. But yeah, regarding that certain level of time, 2 or 3 months to like really dig in, apply some things, crank some stuff out, and beyond that, it's just maintaining things, growing things over time for your entire business. It's just not a daily effort. It's just not, especially after things are kind of dialed in. So don't assume that this is going to be taking a lot of your time over time.
Yeah.
Uh, Another one that came through was also from Madison. Looks like here. Do we have to spend money to get backlinks? You can. It's a faster way of doing things, but you don't have to. You as a photographer, like you can submit work to different blogs and publications, editorials. You can build relationships with editors. You can get directory listings for free. You can do some blog comments on different people's websites to get links from those people for free. You could build what are called business citations, which is essentially like a maps listing on Google, or you're having like the Yahoo listing over there. You got a Yelp listing.
Got it.
These more generic sort of directories that are available that are not niche specific. So yes, you can do a lot of things for free in order to go build some backlinks towards you. Correct.
Awesome. Okay, I hope Madison's question is answered. And
Yeah.
again, I had a follow-up question to while we were talking about the SEO agency. So, what do you recommend? I know that you recommend doing your due diligence because there are good agencies and good people out there as well who are working on SEO and getting results. So, what do you recommend? Do you go for the SEO agency, do it yourself, or like at what stage actually should you start hiring an agency as well?
Yo, that's a fantastic question. It's a really good one. With most photographers, specifically photographers, right? Because
Mhm.
this would be a different answer to different people,
Yeah,
different
no,
industries.
absolutely.
But for photographers, traditionally, what I say is number one, learn SEO yourself. Like through a variety of ways, right? Like you can learn it for free. You can go this DIY route. You can hire a coach, consultant, get a course, whatever. But
Yeah.
learn it yourself is number one. If you choose to go outsource your content in the future in terms of SEO, the first thing I'm really going to want you to make sure you outsource is your on-page SEO, because we want to make sure that your primary pages across your website, therefore your most transactional keywords that you have, are dialed in. We want to make sure that the website loads quickly, your keyword placement and the structure, the copywriting is all strategic, your SEO tag structure is strategic, because those are your most important keywords, most valuable keywords that you have. Beyond your on-page SEO, once you have it dialed in there, you don't need it to be maintained because you're not changing things on the fly. You're not changing up the content all the time. So having an agency to maintain this,
Yeah.
this for some agencies are going to get pissed at me. You don't need someone to maintain these pages of yours as frequently as they say that they do. And your blog post, that's the next thing I'm going to want you to go outsource if you do choose to outsource things, because it does take time. And even if you leverage artificial intelligence like ChatGPT or a variety of other softwares that exist out there, you're still going to have to, again, know SEO, because ChatGPT will not be optimizing this thing for SEO for you. And you're
Yeah.
still going to have to fact check it, because some of the information is going to be outdated. And you're still going to have to make it sound like you, and you're still going to have to put in some calls to action to visit your portfolio and to contact you. So you can't just click a button. And for some photographers that are quite busy and quite successful, they choose to outsource this stuff, but again, blindly. So learn it, outsource the on-page SEO, outsource the blog posts. The off-page SEO stuff, that's where you can start talking more about your traditional agency.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if people are, again, these variables of if they're living in a really highly competitive area and they're needing to do more work for their backlinks and their, let's say, press releases and editorial sort of reach outs and guest blogging and in that realm. If they want to go have an SEO agency for that, that's fine, but it's not into eternity.
Okay.
I don't want anyone having this SEO agency for like the length of their entire career, because a lot of photographers, to be quite real with the industry that's listening, a lot of photographers don't make piles and piles and piles of money. So we need to be very cognizant over where we're putting the money, how long we put the money into that particular thing. Are we ranking where we want to go rank? And do I have the education myself of knowing how to keep it where it is so I can keep more of that money in my pocket, take some of that savings and equally choose, well, if I want to try to scale up further, now that my rankings are here, can I take that savings of money and put it now into ads to scale up even further? Or retain the money and do something else with my money to diversify my overall revenue, so I'm not just a photographer, but I'm now also like a real estate investor or an educator or whatever else.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Another question to this might not be a follow up to it, but yeah. Another question is basically, let's say there are photographers who are doing part time or still transitioning from their full time job to actually doing photography full time, and their main source of getting clients for photography is maybe word of mouth, client referrals, and let's say Instagram as well, or and they do not really have a website right now. So what do you think, like, is there really a need to get a website even if your not main source is getting clients from there, or what are your thoughts on this part basically?
Good question. The way that I like to coach is pretending like someone's Bill Gates, as an example. So just like unlimited money.
Yeah.
If I said to the person that's asking for help, like, hey, do I need a website, to Bill Gates, I'd be like, yes, you need a website because it gets your best foot forward. You have this professional looking brand. It's very polished. You have beautiful work.
Yeah.
But the variables here is like, well, now do I not have the money to go do that thing? What can I do in the meantime? And to those photographers, I say, do what you can with what you have.
Okay.
So if that's something as simple as a Instagram, that's
Mhm.
okay. But equally understand that you will hit this glass ceiling of income and what you're able to go charge, because the perception to your brand doesn't look very professional to most people.
Right.
So definitely get a website. Don't just get a pretty one, get a strategic one. Too many photographers equally just get a website that I've seen this very commonly both sides, but either very minimalistic where it's just like a portfolio and that's it,
Yeah.
or something where they've spent, let's say, $10,000 to hire this custom website designer, and it looks beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not very strategic in terms of educating the client over this, or telling the website visitor a bit more about me, or featured galleries being there instead of just the highlight portfolio.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to having a strategic website for conversion. It can't just be pretty. So yeah, but yes, website, my recommendation would be very high priority.
Good starting point, definitely. And sets your tone and personality right for the business.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We do have a question that we just spoke about, but okay.
Oh, Tony, we got, should I outsource SEO after learning the basics of SEO? I already know that's not my expertise. So, Tony, my recommendation to every photographer is, well, not every, 99% of photographers, would be to learn how to control your own SEO, learn what needs to get done, keep the money in your pocket, if you do choose to outsource some things, outsource the stuff that takes a bit more time, like blogging. And if you would like to outsource other things, that would be more the technical parts of SEO, which is going to be like the backlinks and whatnot. But yeah, not for you, man. Like not an SEO agency in my personal opinion, and do 90% of the work yourself, because I promise you, even though it's not your expertise right now, just like how photography was not your expertise when you first of all picked up a camera, but you learned how to be a photographer and you learned how to become a good one. So don't allow the overwhelming internal thoughts of, oh, SEO is confusing and I just want to outsource it, blah, blah, blah. Learn it, do it yourself, make the money, improve your rankings, and outsource the blogging if time is tight.
Okay, I hope that answered your question, Tony. Okay, Kendra is here. Hi, Kendra. Thank you for joining in. Okay, awesome. We're done with half the session, but we'll be just taking like a small game break for us that I just told you about at the start. So let me just screen share. 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'll just tell you what the game is about, and I'd love everybody who's watching in the audience in the community, please join in and keep on answering as well. Okay, guys, so I'll just tell you what this game is about. We've played this with almost every expert who's been here in the Pixel Power Hour. And just a little bit of context, as you know, FilterPixel was initially doing culling, and we also introduced FilterPixel Edits, which was 15 days back. So this is going to be a slideshow which shows two photos. One is done manually by the photographer, and one is done in the same style by our AI, which is FP Edits. And you're just supposed to guess which one's done by AI and which one's done manually. And you get points according to that. So it's as simple as that. Just give me a second and I'll power it up for you. Okay. So are you ready for it? Just say left or right, which one's AI, and I'll know. Okay, and everybody in the audience as well, just keep on commenting. Let's see who can get it right. Yeah.
That's tough.
I love your expression. You like came forward and be like, okay, now I'll guess.
I'm gonna say the left is the AI.
Left is the AI. Okay, Shinu says it's right. Okay. It says left is AI. Okay, we have. You're right. Oh, amazing. Oh, he was saying left is AI. Nice. Okay, the second one. I can zoom in a bit if you'd like me to hear.
Right.
You said right one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Ah, wrong there.
Interesting.
Okay, we have the third one.
Left.
Are you just going with the alternate theory right now? Okay, everyone's answering. You said left, right?
Yeah.
Again. Okay. FilterPixel is two, Kyle's one, and the last one.
Huh. I mean, based on the other ones, now I'm gonna have to say left.
Okay, you might be right. Oh no.
God, yeah, it's flip-flopping on me.
Okay, it is 3-1.
Yeah,
I
nice. Yeah.
think I forgot to tell you there's a small dare that you have to do in case you lose, which is basically that you just have to write down on paper, I lost FP Edits challenge, and just take a photo with it.
That's funny.
You can do that after the live and we can go back, continuing with the questions. Okay, everyone's answering as well. I'm sorry, everybody, I did not follow who the right one was, but I'm sure Ayush is in the comments following that who really won and who didn't. Thank you so much, Kyle, for participating in this. We get back to the questions now.
Yeah.
The idea was of this game is just to introduce FilterPixel edits to everyone and just to show that how long that the photographer actually spent doing this manually, while this is
Right.
done with AI in about 2 to 3 minutes after learning their style. After learning the style, of course, not just randomly doing brightness and exposure and HSL here and there, of course. So it's
Yeah.
learned absolutely by the photographer's style.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Awesome. And yeah. Okay. Now, getting back to the question, I have a very important one, which you just answered that, in one of your success stories. But how long does it take to rank higher on SEO? Like basically to improve your rank, how long does it take?
Yeah, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but it depends on a lot of different variables. Google will say like there's over 200 different ranking factors. And so obviously we don't have time to get into every single little tiny one. But the biggest ones that I've seen out there personally after helping a lot of photographers is the age of domain, what the photographer has done prior to trying to optimize their SEO. So, do they have a bunch of awards in places, or do they have a bunch of quality and relevant backlinks? Do they have a bunch of authoritative content on their website that they're already answering questions around? Or it's just nothing? Is it hypothetically just they've done nothing in the past with their SEO and they're going from ground zero? With the variables that are attached to it, it depends then on the keyword difficulty per keyword. So 0 to 100. If you can find some keyword competition levels that are closer to 0, it's less competition, easier to get towards page 1.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of photographers get towards page 1 for those in the matter of about, I would say on average, 3 to 6 weeks-ish.
Okay.
The ones that are more competitive, again, even more variables now, because there's a lot of photographers gunning after like those particular competitive stuff, like again, like New York City wedding photographer, New York City family photographer. I've seen that kind of stuff get towards page 1. Obviously, longer duration of time, but a lot of variables. I can't give a golden answer, but I would say closer to maybe 4 or 5 months for a lot of people. It can be faster. It can be slower. There's lots of things that need to get done, and I don't want to be an educator that says like, oh, well, just put it in 3 months and you'll be fine. Like, there's so many different things that need to be done here, and one big thing is the human variable. Because if I say like, hey, go build out these backlinks, go build relationships with these editors, go structure your website like this, go crank out these blog posts, someone is going to do that in like a month. And the other person is going to be like, no, I'm not going to do it. And there's people in the middle. So that's why I say more competitive stuff, give yourself a few months. Less competitive stuff, give yourself a shorter period of time.
Got it. Okay. And Donnie has a question here. Just take it for a second. Yep.
If age of domain matters, does that mean I should purchase a domain from someone, domain transfer, rather than purchasing a brand new domain? So, Tony, if you're already a photographer and you've already been having this business of yours, I'm not going to want to see you bebop around and changing your domains just for the sake of SEO. If you're a new photographer, yeah, I would encourage you to look at aged domains to see what's even available.
Okay.
That said, it's again one of many ranking factors. So if you can't find an aged domain that you really like, it's not the end of the world by getting a brand new one that's a bit more on brand to you and what you specifically are looking for. Like me knowing what I know about SEO these days, I'm getting into real estate investing, and we created a new company, and I didn't look for an aged domain. I just looked for something that was brandable and something that was really short and available and easy to understand. And so I got a brand new domain. I didn't really care. It was more important for me for the branding of what I was looking for compared to just the age of something.
Got it. So you answered the question about the domain. I have a question about the style or the design of the website that a person has up there. Is that causing any difference to the ranking or anything in SEO when it comes to it?
In short, yes, because website user experience is one of the bigger ranking factors these days, and we want to make sure that people are on the website enjoying the content, wanting to stay around, not just leave the website or leave the page right away. So yeah, we need to make sure that, especially for photographers, we need to make sure that it is pretty, because it's a very visual nature of doing things.
Exactly.
But we also need to make sure that we're getting the content that our website visitors are wanting to see to make an educated decision. So as an example, let's say that you're a photographer that now photographs multiple niches and not just one. Let's say you photograph maternity, newborn, and families all on one website. If you are that type of photographer, your niche pages on your website, so let's say the maternity page as an example, I'm going to want to see that navigation up top stay on the top as I scroll down. I don't want to like come to the middle of the website now and then have to scroll all the way back up to go visit the navigation. The next thing down should be your highlight portfolio. So just the best of the best from different maternity sessions that you've done across different sessions. Right underneath of that should be featured galleries now of individual maternity sessions that I can go click on. But when I click on it, it should not bring me to a different page, because now that individual page there is going to have this person leaving that page, now I have to come back to that page if I want to go to. It's just more homework for the person. So if I click on that, it should just open up into a portfolio right then there on that page without leaving it. Below that should be the experience of what it's actually like working with you. So if you have a client closet or anything like that, or if it's just fun to go work with you, like kind of tell me about the experience as me as a client will get. Underneath of that, it should be your process. So your analytical process, which is different than the experience.
Okay.
That should be just educating them of like, hey, step 1, reach out. Step 2, schedule your sessions. Step 3, let's say you have like a pre-planning meeting or consultation, you send over like a style guide or whatever it might be. Step 4 is going to be like the session. Step 5 is whatever your sales process wants to be, but the reveal, the ordering appointment, or just your gallery delivery.
It's like
And
your
then,
secret.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then below that, that's going to be your reviews from that niche. So other people should kind of share like what their experience has been like. Then your contact form specific to that particular niche, because on your maternity contact form, it might ask for their due date.
Yeah.
Compared to like the contact form on your family page, it's not going to be asking for a due date anymore. And then your footer is going to have various strategic things down there as well. One thing that I don't want to see is an Instagram widget pulling an Instagram feed. It's bad for multiple reasons. Number 1, it's a third-party line of code. It can break at any time without you knowing about it. Number 2, it's a third-party line of code, so it can slow down the website without you knowing about it. Number 3, it's pulling in from your Instagram content versus your website and strategic content. Number 4, you can't have alt text behind these images for things like your SEO. Number 6, or whatever number that we're on now, a lot of times on these widgets, you can click on them, which is now a bounce rate because it's leaving your website. I see these widgets all the time being talked
Yeah.
about like they're awesome to go have and they're beautiful, etc. And it's always changing content, it always looks fresh. But at the same time, there's so many negatives against it that I never like to see these types of things on someone's website, and we try to remove them as fast as we can.
I mean, I smile because I've seen hundreds of those, so I can understand what you're saying right now. And
Yeah.
though, yeah, though that seems like very cool and interactive and like fresh, because every time you're visiting the website, there might be a new post that they've put out there. But of course, it has its own sets of cons that need to be considered more when you're coming to SEO and your website strategy in itself.
Yeah, exactly. Because like as an example, let's say a photographer says like, "Oh, but it's springtime, so I want to make sure that the content there is all spring and fresh." Then go on your website and update it. Like, don't just automatically be pulling it from Instagram just because you're lazy. Like, just go on the website, change the content. If you want to go change the content, it's fine.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I do have a question here as well when we're talking about the design. I know there are a lot of AI tools as well coming in the market. Though, like I know you use Show It as a priority, right? Like you Show It templates and Show It designing as well. There's WordPress and there's other website platforms, designing platforms as well. But I know there are AI tools coming in the market as well, where you just like ChatGPT enter in the prompt and it prepares a design template for you. I recently tried one which is Framer.ai because I'm just trying out a few AI tools here and there for just my research purposes. But what it did was I just had to enter a prompt. It created a website design for me, and you could even publish it there for free, so it's not even taking your domain cost. I would not really recommend a professional to do that because we need to invest something because it still shows the watermark and everything. But I had this question for you that let's say if someone's using that, does it? I'm pretty sure impacts the ranking, right? Like the design and everything. Does it go there?
It can.
Okay.
Again, with SEO, any SEO
Mhm.
person will always kind of answer questions with "it depends."
Okay.
So there's lots of variables that are attached to that as well. There's no kind of like black and white answer of like, yeah, that's totally fine,
Mhm.
or don't do it.
Okay.
I'd want you to at least ensure that the design itself loads quickly at the absolute foundation for the website user experience. It's mobile responsive because a lot of the ranking algorithms these days are going to prioritize mobile design versus desktop design.
Yeah.
So that's just where people are spending their time on their devices these days.
Mhm.
And so with all of this, we need to ensure that outside of the absolute basics, are we having a design that feels like us and not like someone else, and for the conversion? And are we looking at the data now within the heat map of what are people scrolling down on, or where do people end? What are they clicking on versus what are they not clicking on, to ensure people are getting the best user experience possible? And that's where I tell people to get a template that's already out there, that already has the data that surrounds it, that works really well,
Okay. Mhm.
and not just try to reinvent the wheel by them looking at some sort of design and be like, well, that's pretty and that
Yeah.
kind of feels like it's on brand, so I'll just go buy it.
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's where the variables exist of each individual business and who we're trying to attract. And that's where regardless of the niche that you're in, even photographer versus non-photographer, that's where I'd want to see every single entrepreneur on the planet have some sort of coach that's specialized in that field and says like, hey, this is what works well. Don't
Yeah,
reinvent the wheel. Do this, follow through. That's why I'm your coach, kind of thing.
makes
So
sense.
yeah,
Okay,
I don't want anyone to DIY anything in life. Just
got
not
it.
who I am. Like even like your marriage and relationships, your mental health, your wellness. Like if you go to the gym, get a personal trainer. If you're in a marriage, have a couples counselor. Even if your marriage is fine, like just get a couples counselor to check up on each other once in a while. Like for yourself, get a therapist. Like we
Yeah,
all have stuff. Get someone to help you out. Like don't just DIY life. It's not necessary. All these types of things should be normalized. Of like this should be like a thing of like, yes, I have a coach. Yes, they are helping me. I'm not just figuring it out as I go, because
exactly.
someone else has identified what to go do here to go optimize this area of what I'm trying to build. So get
Oh,
support in short. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so we briefly touched on this as well in the start that Instagram and TikTok as well are becoming a search engine platform more and more. We delve into it. So, are there any SEO tactics as such that we can improve to use to improve the social media presence?
Specifically social media.
Yep.
So Instagram and TikTok, I'll say first on Instagram because Instagram was first on the block in comparison to TikTok. But like hashtags used to be a big old thing. Hashtags are less of a thing now. I still want people to use things like hashtags because on platforms like Instagram, they still will use hashtags. They'll still search in hashtags, but both platforms are leaning more towards. It's a big topic, but they're leaning more towards just keywords within the captions.
Right.
And so I want you to kind of treat your captions almost like a miniature sort of blog post. You get very intentional about the words that you're using there,
Yeah.
because when people do search on either platform, they might just type in what they're searching for now to find the content they're looking for, just like Google to go find a blog post.
Right.
So yeah, number one, think more intentionally about the words you're using inside the captions. I still do want you to use hashtags. In my opinion, I don't want you using any more than 3 or 4 hashtags. Don't, hashtag stuff like we all used to with like using the full 30. We don't want it to look like spam, and equally the algorithm doesn't want it to look like spam.
Yeah.
So minimize that. On Instagram, you can use alt text behind your photos to describe the content still, so that also can help. Geotagging your photos, especially if you're a location sort of specific photographer, especially like like wedding photographers and elopement photographers. A lot of your audience group is going to be looking up the geotags for like that wedding venue to get inspired of like, well, how does this look at that wedding venue? Who actually photographed this wedding venue really beautifully? I want the same content, so I'm going to hire the same photographer. So yeah, in short, keyword research at the foundation, and then
Okay.
use the captions using some of these keywords that people are actually searching around for.
Got it. Got it. So that helps. Thank you. Okay. And what would be some of the SEO tools that you would recommend? I know you named keywords everywhere as one of those that photographers can use. And are there any other on your mind that can be used so frequently by photographers?
Yeah, by photographers, again, keywords everywhere. For those of you who missed the beginning of the call, keywords everywhere. It's a Google Chrome extension. You can also use Surfer. Surfer SEO is another good one, Google Chrome extension. To identify where your competitors are getting their backlinks from,
Yeah.
I recommend checking out Moz, so MOZ, specifically what's called Link Explorer within the Moz tool. You can additionally use some proper SEO keyword trackers that exist out there. I don't like recommending subscription-based softwares a lot of time because that's the first thing that a lot of photographers like to cut to
Okay.
minimize their outgoing monthly expenditures. So what I do recommend to photographers is go onto a marketplace for software called AppSumo.
Yeah.
So it's just AppSumo for those of you who've never heard of it before. And just literally just type in SEO or rank tracking into the AppSumo website, a little search bar, and most often they will have some softwares that are available for a lifetime deal. And it's not a guarantee of like a particular software is going to be available at a given time, but I promise you'll find something that's good there. And it's, again, a lifetime deal, usually for like $50. So test out that, see what's available now, just grab one. The other tools I want you to use fairly often are the free ones that are available from Google itself. So Google Analytics as well as Google Search Console. The Search Console will help you identify what keywords that people are typing into Google when they're coming across your website, and it will give you a rough idea of where you are ranking, all for free for those particular keywords. It'll also tell you the performance of your overall clicks and impressions over a period of time. And on your analytics, it'll tell you more about the website user experience you're getting regarding like how long someone's spending on a particular page or the website as a whole, or what your exit pages are, what your initial landing pages are, what your most popular ones that you have. So there are a handful of tools that are out there. There's limitless other tools that exist, but I like to give photographers a smaller number of tools to not overwhelm them. Things like SEMrush, like Miguel is mentioning here, Ahrefs, etc., it's not typically something I recommend to photographers.
Okay.
Why? Number one, it's a lot more money compared to these other tools that exist out there. And number two, when you use tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs and more of like the pro grade stuff, you can get the benefit from a tool like that for what you need as a photographer by using it for a month. And then you can just like cancel this thing. Like you don't need it long term. But then some people are going to be thinking, left out of like, oh, I like doing some keyword research on that tool, but then they have to go spend this other expensive stuff again. So to photographers, I don't recommend it. Kendra says, what WPULS? What does that mean?
Even I'm confused.
So Kendra, if you can type that again, I'd be happy to answer whatever question that you have, but I'm not sure what your question means there. Tony, you say, is there a separate tool for searching keywords for Instagram rather than SEO for Google? In short, no, not a good one in my opinion. But what I'd recommend you do is identify what people are searching on Google, because it's going to be very close to what people are searching for within social media very specifically.
Yeah.
Kendra, what can we do to help increase conversions on our sites? So in short, I covered that earlier on this call, so I'd encourage you to watch the recording if you did miss the structure that I walked through regarding your niche landing pages there. For things like your blog, I'd want to at least see that you have a sidebar that has like a little picture of your face, a little welcome statement, a little search bar, categories I can go click on to find information that I'm looking for really quickly. I'd want to ensure that, again, your website is loading quickly. I'd want to make sure your website copywriting is in first person, not in third person. I'd want to make sure that it flows really well and it's not disruptive. I want to make sure that your lighting is consistent, editing is consistent. The clients you have are stylish and resonating with your ideal client avatar. You've got a big body of work, but not too big, so it's not overwhelming them. It's a lot of stuff. You need to get your website looked at by a professional and not find cookie cutter information out there. Like someone needs to look at your site, your content, going through page by page, element by element, and telling you very specifically, this is what to go do to make your unique website convert better, and not just a DIY course kind of thing of like, hey, do this and it's going to work for you. I promise you it's not. Like it'll get you some of the way there, not all the way there, because it's not your website and your branding, your ideal client avatar, etc.
So it's not one size that fits all.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
And I say that because I used to have my own DIY course, and even people in my own did not get the best results possible because it was just cookie cutter information of, hey, photographers, go do this.
Yeah.
Did their results improve? Sure. Is it the best it could have been? No. So that's why I shut my own DIY course down and turned it into a coaching program to customize it for each individual. Shanice, you say, which tool do you start off with? Can you streamline the process from beginning to end? So I'm guessing you're talking about keyword research, but keywords everywhere. Get the keywords everywhere, Google Chrome extension, do your proper SEO keyword research. From there, you'll know which keywords to use across the website. On the website itself, you're going to be optimizing what's called your on-page SEO. So your titles, your meta descriptions, your alt text, your SEO tag structure, etc. And then from there, blogging. And then you're going to prioritize what to go blog about. It's centered around your ideal client avatar and where they live and how transactional the content is, etc. But yeah, in terms of streamlining the entire process, get a business coach. Like it's a massive conversation that needs to be wrapped around your ideal client avatar and I'm just being honest, like the amount of income you're trying to make per year. Because if you're trying to make more money, let's say multiple six figures, it's a different strategy in comparison to when you're trying to make $40,000 per year. It requires different things in a different price point, different team structure, branding, targeted conversion mechanisms. Like there's different things that need to get done at different levels. So I can't just tell you for a whole workflow from A to Z, go do this, you'll see success, because it's dependent on these variables of you and your business. Shinu, you say, what would be the trick to set up SEO? Such a loaded question. Between choosing to list among 100 for keywords being searched versus a few keywords that have low search volumes. So it's not a trick. It's just a matter of putting in the work. I want you to be going in front of as many keywords as humanly possible. It just depends on where we put those keywords and why. So again, let's use the example of the New York City wedding photographer. Then if that's a primary thing and the only niche, hypothetically in this scenario, that you're trying to get in front of, then the homepage would be for New York City wedding photographer, because that's your most important, most valuable keyword to you. Your individual pages within the website framework is now dependent on the clients you're trying to attract, because now this could be for, as another example here, like New York wedding photographer. So now it's like the state, but a different keyword and more search volume. If you're trying to get in front of Long Island wedding photographer, then fine. But now we need to have what's called a doorway page and have a different style of content, because they're looking for stuff that's not ballrooms and not hotels. They're looking for stuff that's more wineries and beachfront and old estates and whatnot, to help convert to that audience group a little bit better. Yeah. Your blog posts will be centered around the rest of the brand awareness keywords that we kind of discussed earlier. And it's not a matter of like, hey, should I go after the stuff that's more transactional or the stuff that's easier to rank and just crank out 100 of them? It's doing all of it to put every single last ounce of opportunity out there and allowing that traffic to identify if they're the right fit for you. And then you choose, hey, which one of these is now the right fit for me? Because if you're getting a whole bunch of leads, you can cherry pick. I'm like, oh, this one sounds epic. I want to go work with that person. That person has the budget and the location and the personality type. Let's go work with them. Right. So yeah, it's doing all of it, man. It's all the fun stuff, not just one or two things.
Okay, I think everybody wants to just learn more and get a few resources. So if you can just help us with a few free resources as well as the paid ones, so that people can learn more from it. And what I'll also do is actually link your community here, because Kyle's always available in his community. And if there are any such questions, that can be directed there to as well.
Yeah, so the best free one, I should say, would be probably my free Facebook group.
Yeah.
That's where I spend most of my time when I'm hanging out on social media. I don't post a lot of TikTok content really at all. I really don't post anything ever to Instagram for a lot of reasons. But number one, I think just in general, just be transparent with everyone. I think social media can be very toxic and very distracting. So I like to have just a singular community where I can go support people. And on places like Facebook, I'm able to have a bit of a conversation compared to TikTok or Instagram, where it's like, oh, thanks for your question, but maybe I'll do a story, or maybe I'll just direct you to somewhere else, kind of thing, right? So free Facebook group, number one, is a good resource, probably the best one. Number two, I have a blog. I put out a lot of really valuable, helpful information there in case you guys are wanting to DIY it and kind of learn a lot of this kind of stuff we're talking about here. A lot of the blog posts I have are long form sort of articles. We're talking like 3,000, 4,000 words to answer a singular question. That's equally why I can't really help the best I can even inside of a Facebook group, because it takes a lot of time to answer something properly.
Absolutely.
Outside of that, my podcast, I do need to record some more episodes, but you can also equally find the podcast for free. It's on any streaming platform, but to simplify it, you can just go to my website, kylegoldie.com/podcast to go find that. So those are
probably free. Don't worry, go ahead.
Yeah. We saw another couple of questions. I'll just answer those just really quickly. Miguel, you say Yoast SEO for WordPress. Yoast is good, but not great. It gets you going because you can kind of check off on like, is it green? Is it orange? Is it red? Right? Obviously, your goal is turning everything green, but it just covers the basics. It can help you, but it's not going to really dial stuff in for you. If you're looking for something that's a bit more advanced compared to just Yoast, you can check out things like Rank Math or SEO Press, or another tool called Text Metrics. So those are another few plugins for WordPress if you're looking to have something like that there. And then Tony says, should I use ChatGPT or not to write content? So in short, you can use any type of artificial intelligence to get you down the right path, but it is not a replacement. It's just going to help you not stare at a blank screen. That's really the goal of artificial intelligence in terms of content, written content.
Absolutely.
So use ChatGPT or similar sort of tools, but then ensure you're optimizing for SEO and for conversion and your voice and your calls to action to visit different pages of your website. It will help speed up your content creation process, but it is not a replacement, just FYI.
Got it. I think we're done with all the questions now. I'll just have a look again. Yep, all done.
Cool.
Okay. Kyle, do you also have any paid resources that they should be checking out? I've listed all the free ones here, and I
Sure.
know you have a few paid ones as well.
Yeah, I got a couple of paid ones. One is my website templates. They're show it templates very specifically. So if anyone's looking
Okay.
for a website design that is already known to convert well, already has proper SEO tag structure already built in, already loads quickly, all these fun things, those exist. Again, the show it templates, you can find them just on my website. My biggest thing and my most well-known thing that I have is my signature mastermind program. And that is where I'm going to coach you about everything related to SEO, but also the other stuff that you're going to need in order to convert that traffic into leads and then leads into bookings. And then in addition to that, help you save time and spend more time with your family, because it is a business coaching program. It's just that SEO is a big portion of it, but it's also everything else. So yes, it's a big, robust thing that's going to help you from A to Z. Pixie set websites, all my galleries. I don't want to say any of those things on a recorded call. But in short, I'm a fan of WordPress-based websites or things that can at least integrate with WordPress. Show
Okay.
It is not a WordPress website, but it integrates with WordPress, where you can turn your Show It design pages into WordPress pages using some of the help docs available through Show It. And when you're having a Show It website, you're also blogging inside of WordPress. So you're still getting access to all the SEO plugins on WordPress, etc. And the benefit of the Show It platform is the customer support as well. I'll say this: there are some platforms that exist out there that are designed to help photographers have like these all-in-one type of things that can be very, on the surface level, like easy to understand. And I have one subscription instead of 3 or 4 or whatever. And that's the draw. And that's why some of these platforms have a big user base. But I'm the personal fan of having websites where I can easily customize and meet my brand aesthetics that I'm looking for and make it feel less like a template. And some of these other platforms out there will feel like a template very much and just kind of feel outdated depending on the design. So if I was you, Shanice, I would get an audit from having someone look at this website of yours and tell you very directly, keep it or ditch it. And always have them say why, so you're fully understanding of why the recommendation is the way it is. But yes, get someone to look at your direct site, please.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Kyle, for being here with us. I'm just checking. Okay. That's something we can answer later. Okay. Okay, so Shanice was actually asking why the FilterPixel is in beta, but it's not. FilterPixel culling we've been doing that since the last 2 years. Editing is in beta, but we've also launched a lifetime deal for culling plus editing. I'll answer this to you in the comment section below, but just a brief viewer. Okay. And all set. Okay. Thank you so much, Kyle, for giving us your time. I know we extended a little, but thank you for answering all the questions as well. And thank you, everybody in the audience who joined in and asked all those questions.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I appreciate the opportunity just coming on here, just chatting openly, giving people the answers that they're looking for. And yeah, I hope we chat again sometime.
Definitely, it was great talking to you because I definitely had a lot of questions addressed today. So I'm happy.
Yeah, of course. Hope everybody has a very good day today.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, thank you everybody for joining in. We'll be doing Pixel Power Hour almost every week, and next week also we're doing with Jane Goodrich. She's the founder of Pixello, and we're talking about marketing and pricing and how you can basically elevate your customer experience. So I'll see you soon for that. Thank you.